I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at JetSuperstore.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games, and if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Happy Monday morning, everybody. We're back. We're live. We're brand new. We're off. We are running. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, and it's a Monday morning. We are live from the Bill Penney Toyota Service Department. Their doors have just opened. Rolled up the garage doors. Cars are starting to file in. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., they can service your vehicles. It kind of looks like the running of the bulls right now. Everybody filing in. It's going to be a busy day here at Bill Penney Toyota. 64 degrees as you make your way into work, into school, wherever you may be headed. Safe travels for everybody around. Don't forget, 75 degrees, your high today. We're going to see the mid-80s to upper 80s by the end of the week. So now would be a good time to give our good friends at Talon Heating and Air a call, 256-503-4490. I know some of us have had to run that air conditioner already, but they may need a tune-up. They may need some ductwork, service and repair, system installation, tune-ups, natural gas, anything. Thomas, Terry, Jeremy, they're just waiting for you to give them a call, 256-503-4490. Actually, they've been very busy right now, but they're live, they're local. You call them, they're going to answer the phone. Give them a call. If you call us right now, 256-576-4977, we'll pick up the phone. We'll chat a little bit, but we got a lot of stuff to get through this morning. One note, though, do got to get this out as we get a Monday started. I know there's going to be several of us or several of you making that journey down to Choccolocco Park this morning. You can take your time for the state softball tournament. Just pump the brakes and take your time, because they will not start play this morning until 11 o'clock. Opening ceremonies will begin at 10:30 on the Signature Field. The State High School Athletic Association, I tell you what, they were like some nervous hens this weekend. Or I guess you could say some cats in a room full of rocking chairs. They were very nervous because they knew the rain was coming, and they knew it could cause a problem, and it did overnight. So again, play will not start until 11 a.m. Opening ceremonies at 10:30 there at Choccolocco Park. They need to give the field, they need to give the staff their time to get everything in play and in order there. So if you're headed that way, take your time, stop and get some breakfast, because you got a little bit of time. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. And just a little bit ago, 22 minutes ago, in fact, the NFL did announce that the opening week will be September 4th. That's going to be your first game of the NFL season, and that'll be the defending Super Bowl champs, Philadelphia Eagles, playing host to the Dallas Cowboys. And since 2004, 20 defending Super Bowl champions have played in the first game to open the season. Those teams 15-5 in those games, including the Chiefs' 27-20 win over the Ravens in last year's season opener. So those are two of the things that have come your way in the last, I guess you could say, 45 minutes to start the morning.
Yeah, I know you were out there at John Hunn Park. They got a chance to finish up the state soccer on Saturday by lunchtime.
In a downpour.
Yeah, I was going to say, luckily you can play soccer in the rain. If
our
not,
last game started at 11:30.
Yeah.
And it started a little bit of a mist. But by the time we got about 5-10 minutes into that final game, I felt sorry for everybody out there on the field, because it was an hour and a half of just
deluge.
Oh my gosh, they were soaking wet, but the fear was lightning. The fear was that they were going to have lightning, and it didn't. And so
that would have been the only thing that could have stopped it. You know, the lightning get you delays, but luckily you guys didn't, and you're able to finish it up. But Bob Jones wasn't able to, and they might play at Tuscaloosa County later today at 4:30 to try to earn that trip back to the 7A finals. If not, they're going to have to wait until Tuesday.
Yeah, because Tuscaloosa County
right.
has drawn a line in the sand.
Yep.
And
they
has
will not
said
go to a
that
turf field.
we will not move this series. This series will not be moved. It will be played there. Unlike other schools that have moved their series because they want to get them in.
Hartsville went to Decatur.
Yeah. So they've drawn a line
Madison
in the
Academy
dirt.
Moved around.
I guess you could say they've drawn a line in the dirt.
I guess.
And said we are not moving this series.
Well, Jared Smith and his staff, they do a great job on their Twitter account at Bob Jones Baseball, and when you on X, and they were continuously giving you weather updates. And I was actually shocked, pleasantly surprised for the young people that they got 2 games in on Friday. Bob Jones won the first game 4-3. I believe that was in 8 innings. And then they played game 2. Tuscaloosa County won that one 10-8. And so they had to play the third game. But I knew once that happened, based upon looking at the weather, I was like,
well, we got to the soccer field on Saturday morning, and the state told me, they were like, hey, I mean, this was like at 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. They're like, Bob Jones has pushed their series to 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, they tried. Yeah,
they were going to try to get it in on Saturday. But the problem was everything was coming up, and it just didn't matriculate for them to have it. So
no, I mean, Alabama baseball, they tried to play a doubleheader on Friday. They played 1 game, and then they were in the middle of the second game, deluge, like you were talking about, on Friday night. they had to postpone it. And then they couldn't even get back on the field at Sewell Thomas Stadium on Saturday at all. But the difference is they were able to finish the series on Sunday, shorten the third game to 7 innings. But as we know, the AHSAA does not allow, Bob Jones and Tuscaloosa County to play on Sunday. They probably could have. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know what kind of shape the grass field was in, but they might have been able to play, on Sunday. But now they're going to try today. We'll see. But it's raining here. It's supposed to rain. There's rain in the forecast in Tuscaloosa. So they could have to wait till Tuesday. Not ideal, but the one thing that Coach Smith and his staff announced on the X is if it does, wait till Tuesday, they can bring back Tanner Hamesh, their number one, starter. And same way with Tuscaloosa County. You might see both number ones pitching again that pitched in that 4-3 game on Friday.
The problem with playing on Tuesday is the fact that the state finals come up very fast. And so this is not an ideal situation for either team, especially not for Bob Jones, because the reason why you want to get this thing done with on Saturday, if possible, is the fact that then you have a few days of rest. Now, 7A is usually the last series to start there for the state baseball tournament. Right. But still, it's not an ideal situation to have to play a final game this week by any stretch of the imagination. If you look at it, because I got to accept all the dumb cookies when you try to get into something. The championship round, they're going to take on Enterprise. Whoever gets there will take on Enterprise. Enterprise got by Fairhope 2-0 in that series. So that is what we know right there. But congratulations to all of those that have made it to the state baseball tournament and the state softball tournament. Again, those are getting underway starting today. The softball tournament, is going to start. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Got about 3 hours before that one gets started. I was kind of looking around. So Hackleburg, they are through. They will play for a 1A state championship. Deschler, they will play for a 4A state title. They surprised. They I think shocked a little bit of people when they got by Etowah in that semifinal.
It was a sweep.
Yeah. It's
Deschler's got a good team, but Etowah is tough to sweep. We know Blake Bone and the job he's done winning state championship, and Etowah is a baseball power, and you just don't see him get swept too many times. And big shout out to Deschler for getting that done.
Hartzell will play for the 6A state championship as they got by Gardendale 2-0. Then American Christian and a couple of nail biters, they get by Madison Academy in 2 games, 2-1, 2-1.
Oh man, that's some heartbreak right there.
Yeah. So those are your state baseball playoff things. Again, the only game left to be played is in Class 7A as Bob Jones and Tuscaloosa County. That's all she's right in there.
And I think the AHSAA was very fortunate in one aspect, and there was a lot of series that was 2-0. I mean, they didn't have to go to game 3s, and some of them were played earlier in the week, Scott, because of the way the schedule sets up for this championship week over at Chockalaka. Yeah. So they played earlier, and you were able to get the games in. But you feel bad for Tuscaloosa County and Bob Jones, but I'll just quote the Bob Jones baseball Twitter account, Coach Smith. Those guys, you control what you can control. And in Tuscaloosa County, it's their choice because they're the host team as to what they want to do, and they've earned the right to host. And unfortunately, there's just been more rain than I've ever can remember, like for several weekends in a row.
Right.
When we're talking about, because softball and baseball, the field conditions are crucial. And so, but again, shout out to all these teams that have made it to the state championship series, and including Spring Garden. We have a lot of fans over there, but they've done a great job. We got a lot of local teams that are going to be trying to compete for state championships in both baseball and softball, and huge credit to Brad Phillips. You already mentioned that Hartzell's through the 6A finals, and that's big for them because he's replacing a legend in William Booth his first year, and to get to the state championship series in year 1, that's big.
State golf also is set to get underway this morning. In fact, it got underway at 7 o'clock, 12 minutes ago. They teed off for the first time at the Robert Trent Jones Oxmoor Valley Golf Course down there in Birmingham area. Oxmoor Valley, the original RTJ, the very first RTJ course out on all of this. Now, high school golf is usually played in pairs, but they walk the whole thing. They do not take carts.
No carts.
But because of the weather and because of everything going on right now, they decided to put everybody in carts, and they're going to play in foursomes because they've got to try getting this through because of the weather. So if you have those involved in state golf, don't worry. The state has looked. And here's the problem. You have to be 16 and over to drive one of the golf carts.
Oh, it's like a car.
Yeah. And so they've had to make sure that all of the foursomes have at least two 16-year-olds in their foursomes for the state golf tournament there at Oxmoor Valley. So they're going to try to get this played.
Because there's a lot of middle schoolers. We've had them in our studio.
Yeah.
McCallum Merard.
It does remain the state's goal to get a 36-hole championship in for all classifications.
Yeah.
But it only takes a minimum of 9 holes to declare a state champion. So that is the goal. The goal is to get 36 holes in, but the minimum is 9 holes. And so, and I learned something in soccer too. When you get to the state finals, there is a mercy rule.
Oh,
yeah. And the mercy rule is 10-0 or 10 goals.
10 goals. Wow.
10 goals, but
That's
you have to play
in the finals.
But you have to play at least a half.
At least a half. Oh.
At least a half. And if you get to 10, there was a semifinal game where we came close to that. We had 9 goals.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was the eventual state champion,
St. John Paul II.
Yep.
They'd gotten 9 goals.
Cherokee County.
And did not know that was something you could do because when you have basketball and you get an X amount of lead, that there's no running clock in the state. Not in the Final Four. There's not. In football, there is no mercy rule. But in soccer, if you get up 10 goals at any point after the first half, they call it.
That's a rarity right there, though. When you're reaching the Final Four, you usually don't. Usually
you don't have something like that, and it's not a situation that you stumble into a lot. Right. It was a heck of a 4 days there at John Hunt Park. Congratulations to Westminster Christian Academy girls. They get 1, 2, 3 straight titles.
Yep.
A little bit of work there. They had to work for this one, but rarely do you see the two teams face each other again in the state finals.
I think that's 3 in a row.
Yeah. But and considering that both move up classes and you still get the same matchups because of the competitive balance. Yeah. You're there, but St. John girls, they win their first ever state championship in girls soccer. So they got that.
And then we had an upset in 7A because of
ginormous.
Because you talked about that on Friday because
Grissom pushed Oak Mountain. I thought
had
very
won
well.
56 in a row.
They it's up in the upper 50s.
I thought that's what it was. 56.
An unbeaten streak. Now
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
they had not lost this year either.
They had ties along the way. They had a tie against a nationally ranked team in Atlanta this year, but they had not lost a game. Had not taken an L.
Wow.
In like 40-something games, but their unbeaten streak was 50-some games. If they had won this game against Montgomery Academy, I believe it was.
Yes, it was 2-1. Yeah,
they would have probably been the Max Preps national champions.
Wow.
They were on that level. They get upset in the Class 7A. Montgomery Academy is like a 3A school.
I was going to say that because of that rule, they had moved up because they won actually 3A in boys basketball as well.
Yes.
Beating Mars Hill, but they've moved up because of their soccer dominance.
Yes. And so they had moved up to Class 7A. And
when I saw that final score, I was like, wow, look at Montgomery Academy.
The state was kind of happy. The executives with the state high school athletic association were very happy that happened, not because they want, but because they feel like the competitive balance is working. They feel like it justified the competitive balance system that they have created.
No.
I've just said that's the feeling with the High School Athletic Association, that it validates
my work in
the
soccer
fact.
Don't work in a lot of other things, bro. Just saying.
Right.
But let them take small victories and keep rules in place that are 30 years too old.
All right, we're going to get our first break in of the morning. It's Monday. We're live from Bill Penney Toyota Service Department. They were happy.
Good.
Yep. All right.
Give 'em a donut.
We'll get one in. It's Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penney Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penney perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penney Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penney Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPenneyToyota.com. Bill Penney's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beams likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bad compressor, a leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Coming up on Saturday, May 17th, it's the Colts Mayday Bass Tournament out of Joe Wheeler State Park to benefit the Clements High School Booster Club. The Colts Booster Association exists to make sure that the athletes at Clements High have what they need to perform at their best. And this is a great, fun way to support the program. Blast-off is at Safe Flight with the weigh-in at 2. An entry fee is just $100 per boat. The guaranteed payout for first place is $1,500 with a side pot for big fish as well. Learn more at coltsboosterassociation.org.
It all comes back to money.
Visit our store right now at zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net to take advantage of all the best deals in the Tennessee Valley. Or just go to our website, 977ESPN.com, and click on the Zone Deals logo to start saving right now.
Now, as to the price.
These deals won't last long, so get yours now. Zone Deals. You'll thank us later.
A man who could easily afford to buy a vowel.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Time now for the biggest thinker of them all.
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
But that's what never worked.
Welcome back on a Monday morning. It is 7:22, in fact. It's on a Monday. We're just hanging out at Bill Penney Toyota Service Department. Literally just hanging out. We got these nice comfy chairs that they've given us. I say they've given us. They're here all the time. We just claim them when we are here. 256-576-4977. You can join us. Their doors are open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Want to invite you, I'm just going to say it, but we want to invite you because we're not really selling them, but we want to invite you. We're going to be doing a little weird schedule this week. So Friday, there will be no live show of Talking Ball.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to enjoy it because Thursday is when it all begins. Thursday, you and I are going to wake up at the mother living crack of dawn.
Oh, Lord. This is going to be like Tokyo Drift and Mentone.
It is, because in the middle of the night, we're going to jet over to Atlanta.
Yeah.
We're going to do the show from somewhere.
Yeah,
we're doing it from John. Where'd you guys do it last year? Poorhouse, Brick House,
or is it
Mama's House?
Battery? I don't.
We're doing it from somewhere over there. I think it's called the Brick House. I don't know, Poorhouse or whatever. We're doing it from over there in Atlanta, right outside of Truist Park, and then we will be at the Braves game that afternoon on Thursday. So we'll be doing our show from Atlanta on Thursday. Friday, we will not be doing anything. And Saturday, we will be over at our good friends, University Kia. So
we're going to have a best of on Friday.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's been a while since we've done one of them.
Yeah, so I just want to let everybody know that we're not going to have a live show on Friday. We'll be live from Atlanta on Thursday and then University Kia on Saturday. So you're still going to get 5 shows this week. Just one of them is you're just going to come in a different day.
Friday will be what, 12 to, Saturday will be 12 to 2.
I think what Tokyo test 12 to 2. Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, 12 to 2 on Saturday. There you go, John. We got a time for you. 12 to 2 on Saturday. Yeah. Apparently he's dead. He's not talking to us.
You guys can hear me, right?
Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, we're looking forward to being back out at University Kia and with Arthur and those guys, and #1 rated Kia dealership in all the, the state of Alabama, and they do a great job, and we look forward to being out there with those guys and having a good Saturday show. So we're just letting you know about our schedule this week, and we
Yard House. It's gonna be at the Yard House.
The Yard House.
The Yard House.
Gotcha.
Yard House over there.
House.
Gonna be on the patio at the Yard House over there. So my wife goes, well, what time are you gonna have to leave in the morning, do you think?
Yeah.
And I was trying to do the math in my head. So I plugged it into the GPS and it said 3 so you figure a little bit of traffic maybe. So 3.5 hours, give or take. And so, give us, staying on Central Time, get there around 6, well after 6 to set up. So you figure around 2:30.
Yeah.
Gonna leave around 2:30 in the morning on 2:30 in the morning on what's going in there. So you ready for an early rides?
Here we go.
You might not go to bed.
Been through it before, man. Just try to get 2 or 3 hours sleep, And just like when Tokyo had to come back from Fort Worth, make the cannonball run.
Look, we did
get back at 3 a.m. Took me 4 or 5 days to get over that one.
It's good.
I was the one in the back seat with Scott right now. His knees were just crunched the whole time.
There he is. Yeah, because we had that car loaded down.
Yeah. Well, look,
there he is,
look, at the last minute, University Kia, they were gracious enough to give us one. But the problem is we learned that when you travel X amount of miles away from a radius, it does not, you have to have a rental vehicle, and they did not have any big rental vehicles. So
no, my knees were pretty racked too, man. We were all packed in there like a bunch of sardines. Thank goodness for rear view cameras, because we couldn't see out the back for anything.
Yeah, we were packed in there. Jay is with us this morning. Good morning, Jay.
What up, Jay?
Good morning. Good morning, guys.
Morning, sir.
Atlanta. Got a trip to Atlanta coming this month and coming up in July, right? For SEC Media Day.
Yeah, we are sitting, let's see here. We are the 12th, so we are just less than 2 months away from kicking off SEC Media Days. And I did get a chuckle, and Jay, I know you bring up SEC Media Days. I did get a chuckle out of this. According to FanDuel, do you know who has the same odds to win a national championship this year in the SEC? 2 teams have the same odds to win a national championship, and I got a laugh out of it.
Who was it?
Vandy and Kentucky.
Wow.
Both had the exact same odds to win a national championship.
Well, I got talking about Vandy in Nashville. My family and I went up to the Savannah Bananas game Saturday night at Nissan Stadium.
How was that?
What an experience! Man, what an experience! They keep you, entertained the whole 9 innings, which they have a 2-hour time limit, and you don't go by how many runs you score in an inning. If you get whoever scores the most in one inning gets 1 point, and the most points wins the game. And if you hit a foul ball, anybody catches it in the crowd, it's an out.
Nice.
That's awesome.
If you try to bunt, you're thrown out of the game.
Oh, my Lord.
Out of the box. No stepping out of the box. And they just keep it going. And it's real entertaining. And, I mean, they're dancing, singing, doing all kinds of skits. So they had the home plate area down in the corner where the visiting team comes out for the Titans game.
Yeah, they played this inside there, and they played this inside the football stadium there in Nashville, and they a couple weeks ago they did one inside Clemson's football stadium as well. They had 70,000 for the one in Nashville, and they had almost 80,000 for the one in Clemson.
So the guy for Savannah hits a home run from that corner to the other corner of the other end zone. Straight line drive shot. And I'm like, good gracious. But just an awesome experience. I mean, they had the bands going on. They had the sounds going on. They had the Shinedown concert going on. So Nashville was covered up. But an awesome experience. And if anybody gets a chance, they do a draft lottery, which comes out. You sign up for it in December. And then they'll let you know the first of the year if you're able to get them, because it's a great experience. It's cheap, tickets are cheap, and you and your family have a great time.
Oh, that's awesome, Jay. Yeah. So those that don't know, the Savannah Bananas are kind of like a Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
Yeah.
But they've really taken it to the extreme. It started off very small, and now it's grown huge. It's becoming one of the must-sees, and a lot of this is self-promotion. I mean, they started doing this on their own. They wanted to come up with a unique way of presenting baseball.
Yeah.
And they have tryouts every year for the 2 teams. They have the Savannah Bananas, and then they have the AKA the what was it?
Washington Generals.
The Washington Generals of the other side. Yeah. And they have tryouts for both, and you have to be unique. You have to bring something to the table to try to get in there.
And then we talked about Charlie Culberson being on the Savannah Bananas, but I think he's retired now, and he was doing some Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.7 The Zone with Ben Ingram as the Braves threw up all over themselves and lost the series to the Pirates.
And the Savannah Bananas bring in, like, certain, if they're in a town or whatever, they'll bring in. I know they had the Titans draft pick come out there, and they were on the field at one point during the game. So I mean, it's an amazing experience. I'm glad you got to go, Jay.
Yeah.
And Drew, watching the game Friday, the Alabama-Georgia game, when it was the blowout, I think the rain delay helped Alabama because it kind of killed Georgia's momentum going into the weekend after that one game.
Well, I can just tell you this. All I remember is the 3-run double from Cade Snell, and it was 3-1 Alabama. Then I woke up, checked the score, started cussing, and because I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" 19-3. But Alabama, you got to give them credit. I mean, Quick went out there, gave them nearly 5. It wasn't ideal to have to wait out a rain delay, but and I knew they wouldn't be able to bring him back. That's another thing that was a little bit tough. But Braylon Myers did a good job giving them nearly 3 innings, and then Osmer was really good this time. Back-to-back worked. He gave them 2 innings to finish game 1, and then 2 outs to finish game 2, and 2 outs to finish game 3. Alabama got a huge series win. I think now the third game was shortened because of the weather. It was 7 innings. They decided to only play 7, but huge to get that series. I think their RPI is now up to 8 or down, however you want to put it. It's at 8 right now. So, but now they're going to be playing the hottest team in the SEC on the road.
Yeah.
Florida took 2 out of 3 at Texas and has completely flipped the script for their season.
Think about that. They were 1-11 at one point.
Yeah.
1-11 in SEC play were the Florida Gators.
Yeah, and yet they're 12-3 the last 5 weeks, but they still have. That's the amazing thing. They're still under 500 in the league. That shows you how tough the league is. But if Alabama could find a way to take 2 in Gainesville, it's going to be very difficult because Florida's playing very well. But if they do, I think they're a lock to host. I mean, now I don't think they'll be a top 8 national seed, but they'd be able to host for the second time in 3 years, which would be really big for the program. And Auburn definitely is. They swept South Kakalaki and got their series over early because they played it Thursday and then Friday. But Butch Thompson, we're going to talk to Bryan Mathews here in a little bit, but they should be a lock to host right now. And they might even still have a shot at a national seed. And I was thinking back in my head, when's the last time Alabama and Auburn both hosted in the same year? And I was thinking potentially it was 96 and 97 because they both made it in 96. I think Auburn was really good in 97, but it was around that time, I think is the last time. Been a long time since they both hosted in the same year.
Well, guys, y'all have a great rest of the day. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks. Auburn, by the way, coming off a rather impressive series, I guess you could say, against South Carolina.
Right.
Auburn scored, I believe. Now, a lot of this was due, in fact, to the 24 runs that they scored in their opener for the Auburn Tigers. But they scored the most runs in a 3-game series, an SEC game series. I think they broke a school record, tied a school record for most runs scored in a series. I want to say it was 40 or 41 runs. But a lot of that, of course, was thanks in part to the 24 runs that they scored in the series opener. All right, got to get a break in. When we come back, phone lines still remain open to you. 256-576-4977 is Talking Ball live from Bill Penney Toyota.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms continue into this Monday night. Low temperature is going to be falling into the low 60s. Heading into our Tuesday, another round of rain and a few thunderstorms possible. High temperatures reaching the mid-70s. Tuesday night, temperatures fall into the low 60s. We'll continue to sit under a mostly cloudy sky. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details. Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama. Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
7:38 on a Monday morning. Let's go out to the phone lines. Let's visit with Richard real fast. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, Richard.
The Bananas play the party animals.
Yeah, that's it. It's the party animals. Yeah,
there we go.
And it's not like and the difference is the party animals. You know, when you had the Harlem Globetrotters, you know, the Washington Generals, they'd never win. I mean, they were never. Now the party animals, though, the party animals sometimes do get a victory.
Yeah.
My son played Little League over in Atlanta years ago, but I don't know if he's on the team this year, but a guy he used to play against over in Woodstock, Georgia, was on the party animals for a few years. Actually, he was the #1 draft pick at one time.
Oh, wow.
So, but like I said, I don't know. I hadn't looked at the roster this year, but I know for a couple of years he was on the party animals. So, out playing baseball. Drew, from last week, you know, I think you were going off on our buddy Dan Woken.
Yeah.
I just think a lot of these guys, you know, used to be important, and they're not anymore. A lot of them, you know, all these newspapers have shut down, and you know, and I think a lot of it. And then too, you know, they, let's shut down for COVID, but I think nobody reads them anymore. You may have more people following you on X than these guys too. And I just think they basically kind of have a hatred for sports because they used to think they were all important, you know, and making big salaries. A lot of these guys are kind of independent now. So they're just kind of, you know, they hate the world.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or they've bounced around, because I know Stuart Mandel's bounced around to some different places because of as you said, the changing media landscape. So, but again, I mean,
you can't think of one important print media person anymore at all. I mean, really.
Well, and then another one is going to retire at the end of this coming college football season, and that's going to be Tony Barnhart, who has been around forever, has been very well respected throughout, you know, college football circles. And I believe the national championship game this year is going to be his final game, and then he is going to retire. So that'll be another big, presence gone in the media.
Well, Tony was positive, though. I mean, he was never one of these, hating football, because I've met Tony a couple of times over the years when I lived in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But he wasn't one of these that, hated it. And he stated it, the Journal Constitution for maybe his whole career.
That's right.
But like I said, these other guys kind of, these papers have all, laid everyone off and out, and they have, very low readership. But I just think these guys basically have kind of gotten to the point where they thought they were important. And then, they're basically just, sit at home every day and, instead of enjoying sports, they just sit around and hate it. Hate you and me for enjoying it.
They try to cause a little bit of controversy within the
try to
sports
stir it
world.
up.
Dan Woken's take about Nick Saban being on a committee to, control or rein in NIL. I mean, why? Why come out with those opinions?
Well, you got
Why?
somebody that's been there hands-on that knows what it is. He's talked to the players, talked to his coaches, he probably has, how many coaches employed, from assistants to head coaches all over, college football. He would have a better feel for it than anybody.
Well, look, I'll just say this. Andrew, you can probably agree. If college football came to Dan Woken and said, we want you to sit in on this committee, we want you to start helping, reform NIL, Dan Woken would have agreed. He probably would have said, yep, I'll come in. Yeah, heck yeah. And he would have tweeted out that, he's such a powerful individual, that he is going to be one of the ones to help reform NIL.
Yeah,
and then he would be important again.
Yes, he would be important again. He would have said yes. He would have done he would have agreed to sit on the committee to be reforming NIL.
Thank God
Nick could have tweeted out and cut down Dan Woken and said he shouldn't be on it. He's just in it for the money.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, the way he would want college football refurbished, I don't think it would ever survive. I mean, the way, because again, he always talks about that you can't put the genie back in the bottle, which is true, but you have to have guardrails as well, and you got to get Congress involved. It's just the way it's going to have to be. Is it ideal? No, but it's the truth, and you have to deal with it. And you have someone in power now, and the president and President Trump, and then Nick Saban. These guys can help facilitate some sort of future for the game and for the athletics. And you want to save the non-revenue sports as much as possible too, because this provides young people a chance to have scholarships and get their educations.
Look, we laughed at Mark Emmert because 6-7 years ago, Mark Emmert was up on Capitol Hill trying to get Congress to intervene, trying to get Congress to do something. We laughed at Mark Emmert then saying, why aren't you coming up with your own policies? Why aren't you coming up with this? Maybe Mark Emmert, I mean, I get it. There are things that he did. There are things the NCAA did that we laugh at, and we can sit here and we can say that was just boneheaded and bad and awful decisions, and they drug their feet. And yes, they did for the most part. They did on NIL and a lot of this stuff. They drug their feet. But maybe Mark Emmert was onto something when he was going to Congress initially, maybe 10 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, whenever it was, to try to get them involved in helping make all this go away.
Yeah,
one thing on Emmert is he just did what the college presidents wanted him to do. They were the idiots that I don't know why they didn't want these guys to get paid out. I mean, maybe they're socialists and want to keep the money for themselves, kind of like our buddy Bernie Sanders. I mean, he wants the money, but he wants to spend your money out. But like I said, these presidents, you can't understand, but they were the ones employing Emmert, so you kind of. That just doesn't make any sense out. So,
I
just wanted to get my 2 cents in on
good stuff.
Everybody's friend Dan Woken.
Yeah. Thanks, Richard. Thanks for the phone call.
Yes,
but I mean, I don't know. I mean, Mark Emmert did have to answer, and he was answering to the presidents. He was answering to the schools and whatever, and he was trying to come up with something. But I don't know. I mean, yes, they drug their feet, but again, here we are asking Congress again for help. And that's what the NCAA was doing several years ago, going to Congress asking for help.
The college presidents never thought Ed O'Bannon would win. That's the problem. They kept thinking it would be true amateurism the entire time. They didn't think, and by the time all this started, all these dominoes started falling, then it really was. And it didn't help that there's been a lot of political unrest in the country. Okay. And so it's just been tough. You're having to deal with other more important things. And now this, maybe if things settle down, they can get collegiate athletics back on track.
All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, is your college football team built for a double-digit win season? When was the last time your SEC team had one? And can they have one this year? We'll let you know.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Carrabba's Italian Grill is the best place to enjoy authentic Italian cuisine, passed down from our founders' family recipes. Featuring a wood-burning grill, you can enjoy Carrabba's signature dishes, including chicken brine, wood-fired grilled steak and chops, and classic Italian pasta dishes. Have a special event? Elevate your catering with Carrabba's Catering, the perfect way to enjoy large party portions of your favorite hand-prepared dishes for any event. Carrabba's Italian Grill at Parkway Place, Huntsville.
Coming up on Saturday, May 17th, it's the Colts Mayday Bass Tournament out of Joe Wheeler State Park to benefit the Clements High School Booster Club. The Colts Booster Association exists to make sure that the athletes at Clements High have what they need to perform at their best. And this is a great, fun way to support the program. Blast-off is at Safe Flight with the weigh-in at 2. An entry fee is just $100 per boat. The guaranteed payoff for first place is $1,500 with a side pot for big fish as well. Learn more at coltsboosterassociation.org.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of iconic casinos, world-class shows, dining, and entertainment. Las Vegas. With flights starting as low as just $79, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Las Vegas. Book nonstop to Las Vegas now at flybreeze.com.
I'm Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. You know, if you're a contractor installing fences, you need Valley Equipment Rental for augers of all sizes. And if you need a forklift to get those shingles up high on a roof, Valley Equipment has 10K lifts that reach to 56 feet. Valley also has tow-behind lifts that have a working height of 35 to 55 feet as well for power washing those two-story homes or doing whatever else you need to do. Lifts, forklifts, tow-behind lifts, 35 feet and up. They have your lift at Valley Equipment Rental. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental.
I'm here with Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490.
AL certain number 21014.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well, to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. And Owens Crossroads, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 326 Sutton Road very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Owens Crossroads.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, 7:51 Monday morning. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. I saw this over the weekend. It got me thinking. I did not realize some of these teams that had been this long in the SEC as far as football, double-digit win seasons. Do you know, can you remember the last time Arkansas has had a double-digit win season on the football field?
I don't know, probably when when Harley Davidson was coaching.
2011.
Instead of being the offensive coordinator.
2011. Last time Arkansas had a double-digit win season.
What about Bob?
Think about this one. They paid Jimbo Fisher $1 billion to come coach the Aggies. The last time the Aggies has had a double-digit win season is 2012.
No, I don't think so. Did they not? I thought did they win their bowl game though?
No.
Because I guess it was just because they played 10 games in 2020 and they went 9-1 and they didn't get in the playoff. But I guess they lost their bowl game. Is that what happened? Because that would have been a double-digit win season because remember, Olin, the propagandist, was telling us that they should have been a college football playoff team despite the fact that Alabama burned their house down and beat them by 30.
I am double checking, but I'm pretty
they
sure
lost the bowl game because again,
no, they went 9-1.
Yeah, I remember they went 9-1. I just couldn't remember if they played a bowl game.
They did not play a bowl. The Capital One Orange Bowl. So that was the Capital One Orange Bowl. With the Orange Bowl, they went 9-1.
Okay. I was thinking if they played the 10 regular season games, lost Alabama.
Lost 52-24 that year.
Yeah.
Yeah. They beat Vanderbilt 1, beat Florida 2, Mississippi State 3,
One
Arkansas
of their games
4,
may have been canceled during that
5,
season.
6, 7,
so
8, 9. They did not. They beat North Carolina in the Orange Bowl, but they went 9-1 that year. Did not get to double-digit wins.
One of their 10 was obviously canceled. So that was the closest. So wow, yeah, that 2012 was Johnny Boy. Johnny B. Good won the Heisman, and it was his one shining moment. And beat Alabama. Couldn't beat LSU though. They won the bowl game. And I think they went 10-2 that year. But Johnny B. Good, that was his one. Where everything lined up for him.
South Carolina's last one was 2013.
That was Steve Spurrier. As we know, they won the SEC East and got beat by 120 points or whatever it was by Auburn. They just got smashed.
Mississippi State 2014.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Mississippi State has a plus 50,000 odds to win the national title this year. Plus 50,000. But I mean, so Auburn, by the way, is 2017.
Yeah.
And then
that was a year where they beat Georgia in the regular season, but then lost the rematch in the SEC championship game. They also beat Alabama. Kerryon Johnson was SEC Player of the Year, but got injured in the Iron Bowl. Wasn't himself in the SEC championship game, and then Auburn got taken out by UCF in the Sugar Bowl when they just barely missed the playoff. But yeah, it's been a minute.
And then Florida 2019, Kentucky 2021,
mm-hmm.
And then you have 23 was Bama, Oklahoma, and LSU. They won 10 double-digit games there. And then last year, Texas, Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee, and Missouri.
Well, yeah,
all came away with double-digit wins.
Alabama's 17-year streak came to a close because they needed to have won the bowl game over Michigan to continue the streak that started in 08.
Right.
But they did not play well against Michigan in the bowl game. And so that came to a close. But again, Alabama, I think they've got a good shot to restart that streak this year.
Right.
I think they've got a good football team on paper. We'll see, how good Auburn is. Auburn, for Hugh Freeze's sake, so he doesn't start feeling heat. He's not feeling heat right now, but they need to be better. I think they need to win 8 games. We'll see if they're even better than that. I don't know that I believe that they're a 10-win team yet, but I think their upward trajectory is good. I think their roster is much, much better than it has been.
Does the SEC get, last year, 1, 2, 3, 4. They had 5 double-digit win teams last year. Do they have that in them this year? I mean, I'm kind of looking over this. We talked a lot about what Auburn had to do. Hugh Freeze bringing in more talent, trying to figure out that quarterback spot. But the Ole Miss Rebels lost a lot from last year.
Oh, they did.
Jackson Dart gone at the quarterback spot. I mean, they've got some holes to fill.
Mhm.
Last year, obviously, I mean, hand down, Lane Kiffin's best year with the Rebels. Hands down, probably his best year.
Well, I mean, he didn't actually win as many games. I mean, he won 11 a couple of years ago. He won 10 last year, but I think it was his most talented team.
Yes. Okay.
I think they were the most talented team in the SEC. They just didn't have the consistency. And now they're going to have Austin Simmons, the wonderkind at quarterback, who reclassified, who basically was playing college football by the time he was 16, and now he's 19. He's already graduated from Ole Miss, and he hasn't ever started a game. And you're hearing the hype machine start up that he's going to be an unbelievable talent, and maybe he will be. I do remember when they signed him. So, and they better hope he's that good when they're watching Arch Manning in a Texas uniform.
Do they have a double-digit win season in front of them, do you think? I mean, after everything that they've done?
I wouldn't count on it. We'll see. I mean, they're certainly talented, and Lane has good players, but they've got Wild Turkey. And while I know they had a really good defense, quote unquote, on paper last year, they lost 3. So, and missed the playoffs. So, and including that horrendous, and then losing to Florida the way they did too. So we'll see. I mean, but certainly Lane's got, they've been aggressive in the portal again. I think they've got good talent, and so we'll see. But a lot of it's going to depend on quarterback too. And we've never seen Austin Simmons. Perhaps he's the next big thing. Perhaps he's completely underrated, like under the radar, like a Mac Jones was. You never know.
By the way, Auburn's last 10-win season, back-to-back 10-win seasons, 1988-89 season, just kind of like that 1,000-yard receiver staff for Auburn.
That's still nuts.
That's just hanging around there for the Auburn Tigers. Got to get a break in. Talking Ball live from Bill Penney next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
The PGA Championship tees off Thursday at the Quail Hollow Club in Charlotte. Scotty Scheffler, the 4-1 favorite. Rory McIlroy plus 475. Bryson DeChambeau 14-1. The NFL drops its 2025 schedule on Wednesday. The Atlanta Falcons are plus 240 to win the NFC South Division. They went 8-9 a year ago. Tennessee Titans 3-14 last season, plus 650 to win the AFC South Division title. Atlanta Braves laying $1.75 at home against the Washington Nationals today. 8.5 over the total at Truist Park. Grand home for the Braves. Jake Irvin for the Nationals. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome back in on a Monday morning. We touched a little bit. We touched a little bit on it in hour number 1 there in the beginning, and that was kind of recapping a little SEC baseball from over the weekend. If you followed the SEC baseball, what a crazy weekend it was, because we told you
Weather interrupted.
Bryan Mathews is going to join us here in a little bit, like he does each and every week, and he's got to dial in on the computer because we like to see Bryan Mathews. So he's gonna join us here in a little. We told you though, somebody was going to walk into, or somebody was going to face Missouri, and someone was going to get tripped up.
No.
Somebody was going to get tripped up. Missouri was 0-24 going into the weekend, folks. 0-24.
What is Owen going to do
in SEC baseball?
Are they going to fire him?
And Texas A&M, who was in the middle of the pack in the SEC. Now I get it, first-year coach, and there was a lot of question marks, and the feeling wasn't great. But folks, Missouri swept Texas A&M this weekend.
Didn't just win 2.
And it was embarrassing. It wasn't even close. I mean, Missouri just laid waste to Texas A&M.
I mean, last I saw yesterday, I was trying to check scores and just see if everything was wrapping up. And it got so bad that Texas A&M's X account would not update the score.
Yeah,
it was 3-1. They were down.
You were down. You got swept by an
10-1,
and you got swept by an 0-24 team.
And it was kind of amusing that all the fans, they kept saying update.
Well,
what's the score?
Well, those 3 wins, by Missouri, all of a sudden puts them 2 games behind South Carolina for bottom of the basement in the SEC.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why South Carolina is down there, they are 5-22. Those 5 wins were exactly the amount of wins they started with going into the weekend, because the Auburn Tigers throttled South Carolina. And I mean, 24 runs in the opener. They set a new mark for runs in a 3-game series. They sweep the Gamecocks at Plainsman Park.
They did.
What an impressive outing by the Auburn Tigers.
And when speaking of the Auburn Tigers, he's now with us on Zoom. We're going to catch up with our good friend and Uncle Keith's Red Sauce aficionado for AuburnSports.com. Part of the Rivals/On3 network now, since they're combining. But he's been with them since 2001, and we're going to talk some Auburn baseball right now. Brian, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are y'all? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
There you go. Okay, how you doing?
We see you. We got you. It's awesome.
And yeah, man, I mean, 24 runs. What a way to set the tone, man. And by the way, let's not forget they were down 1-0.
Yeah, they were down 1-0.
Then I guess angry.
It's pretty wild. 46 runs in the series. Eric Guevara went off 8-12. No, wait, was it 8-12? He batted 800 in the series. 8-9 RBI, just incredible weekend for him, and that whole lineup really produced incredibly, and it's made for a really exciting finish in the SEC now.
Yeah, it really has. There's going to be a lot at stake in the last weekend, but I will say too, I will give Carolina credit though. After getting shellacked, they did give Auburn a run in game 2, and Auburn had to rally, won that game 11-10, and then I would say they eased away in game 3. I think the game 3 final was 9-3. But Ike Irish, of course, now that he's healthy, it looks like a first-team All-SEC guy.
He has been playing great the last half of the SEC play, or the last 3 quarters of SEC play. He's been absolutely terrific, leading this team, driving in big runs. I think he leads the SEC in home runs in conference games. At least he did when I heard the stat on Friday or Saturday. So just a terrific job by him. That lineup is really producing. I've talked about it all season, how I thought it had another level or two it could reach, and certainly it showed this past weekend. They're not going to score 46 runs at Ole Miss, of course, but they are definitely starting to heat up there, and a dangerous team going down the stretch.
Well, and Brian, it's not often that you get some help from one of your biggest rivals, if not the biggest rival, but Alabama taking 2 out of 3 from Georgia. Really helped Auburn in the standings, because you wake up this morning and if you're Auburn, there is an outside chance still you could be one of the top 4 seeds going into the SEC baseball tournament and not have to play until the quarters.
Yeah, it's pretty wild if you think about it. Going into this last week, Auburn can win 40 games. And I look back, it's the first time in more than 20 years, since 2000, to win 40 games in the regular season. They can finish in the top 4 in the SEC, and they can secure a top 8 national seed with a good week. Right now, they're in a 3-way tie with Georgia and Vandy for that number 4 spot. I think Vandy has the tiebreaker of those 3 teams. Vandy goes host Kentucky, Georgia host Texas A&M, so you got to like those teams' chances of having a pretty good weekend there. They're 1 game behind LSU in 3rd, and right behind them are Tennessee and Alabama, in 7th, 1 game behind. So it's really, really tight there for that last spot in the SEC tournament, or last couple of spots in the SEC tournament, our last 4 spot in the top 4 of the SEC tournament. Excuse me. It's going to be a really, really exciting weekend.
And I think you brought up a great point. Of course, you want the bye or even the double bye in the SEC baseball tournament. But the more important thing is, if Auburn could win this series at Ole Miss, it's not going to be easy on the road. The Rebels have a good team, but I already think Auburn's locked up hosting. But now you're trying to be in that top 8 national seeds where you're hosting the regionals and the supers.
That's right. Auburn's never hosted a super regional. They've hosted a couple of regionals. They've been in line to host a super regional, but lost their own regional a couple of years ago there. So this is a big opportunity for them. I think D1 baseball had Auburn number 5 in the country last week before the sweep. So you got to feel like they're solidly in there this week and just need to go to Oxford and have a good weekend.
And I made this statement too before you came on, Brian. I want to say it was around 96 and 97, the last time I can remember both Alabama and Auburn hosting in the same year. I mean, because it's been very difficult. Alabama hasn't been the top 8 national seed, I think, since 06. But and then they lost in their regional to North Carolina. But I think for the both of them to host and be top 16 national seeds, it's been a long time.
It has been, and it's especially tough in the SEC. With so many great teams. Texas, of course, looks like the runaway winner. Maybe not the runaway anymore. They've lost a few games here the last couple of weeks, but certainly the winner there. Oklahoma is a storied program coming into the league. And, of course, we know what LSU and Arkansas and all these other teams have done recently. Tennessee, the defending national champion. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, national champions in the last 5 years. So it's just an incredible league. And anytime you have a chance to finish in the top 4 in that league, you've done something special.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Well, what does the series look like for Ole Miss then?
They the Rebels are 9th in the SEC. They're just 2 games behind Auburn coming in, so they feel like they've got a shot to move up and help their chances a lot. It'll be a Thursday through Saturday series this weekend, like every other series in the SEC. Auburn, I think, has helped because last weekend they were Thursday and Friday when they sewed up their series. They did not play on Saturday due to the rain. So I think that helps them out a little bit. I thought the pitching took a step back last weekend for Auburn. I think part of that was maybe finals and moving everybody up a day or 2 for their starts. So I think it'll help this week being in the same slots again. But I think Auburn's in good shape going to Oxford.
Yeah, they seem to be. And if they can get this series win, it would be monumental with the momentum, and you would have at least, I think, the one bye. We'll see on the double bye. They're just and just to tell you how tough the league is. Like I thought Kentucky was on the bubble going into the weekend, then they swept Oklahoma.
I know, it's incredible. Yeah.
So I think they're probably in. And then Scott and I were talking about the unmitigated disaster that happened in College Station.
Oh my! Brian, we said somebody was going to fall to Missouri. I was thinking maybe a game here, maybe a game there, but not being swept by the Tigers.
And Brian, it got so bad yesterday that A&M just decided not to update it.
Man, preseason number 1 team in the country. You just they've had some injuries, but you can't take a step back or have a slump, or you will get crushed in this league. That was an incredible weekend for Missouri. Congrats to them. I'm glad to see them get some W's. Right.
So, Brian, let me ask you this. After last year, I mean, Auburn baseball, I mean, they go through, they kind of do some changes in the coaching staff, right? Was that last year that he decided to make some changes?
Butch was able to bring back the whole staff from last year. But before that, guys leaving, retiring, moving on. He's had to replace his pitching coach, 4 or 5 years in a row. Had to make some other changes here and there, but last year was the first time in several years he was able to bring his whole staff back intact, and I think that was a plus too to get this team to take a step forward.
Oh, no question. And we all know that due to family reasons and things of that nature that Tim Hudson stepped away, but he's still very much a part of the Auburn baseball program. And he did a great job as an assistant, but wanted to coach his son and ended up taking that job, I believe, at Lee Scott Academy and just nearby. So, but I saw he was honored the other day, and he is one of the, I think, top 5 greatest Auburn players of all time. And then, like you said, he's had some retirements. But the one good thing about Butch Thompson, as far as pitching goes, he's been a long-time pitching coach, so he's very heavily involved in that area of development, recruiting, and the entire aspect and process of developing pitchers.
Yeah, he brought in Coach T from the major leagues, and then of course you got Coach Foxhall, who has a long 3-decade history of being a pitching coach too. So that staff is heavy on pitching knowledge, and I think you're seeing that with some of the guys who have stepped up this season and had terrific years. Samuel Dutton is, of course, the first guy you think of, been that Friday night guy for Auburn after transferring from LSU. But they've had guys like freshman Christian Chatterton come in and step up. Cade Fisher from Florida struggled as a starter. They moved him to the bullpen. He's pitched much better since then. They've had several other guys, transfers and freshmen, really pitch well through him throughout the season. So I think that's the area of the team that's improved the most from last year for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And then courtesy of Jeff Shearer, who I know Scott knows well, but this is a pretty interesting stat too, because first of all, it's hard to believe Butch has already been at Auburn 9 years. I mean, that's flown by. I can remember when he was hired from Mississippi State, where he had been the longtime pitching coach. And I mean, and then Hal Baird, such a class man. I've had a chance to interview him. He had such a great run at Auburn from 83 to 2000. But in between those two guys, Auburn only had in 15 years only had 2 winning SEC seasons, and have already had now 4 in 9 under Butch Thompson. And other years when they didn't have a winning season in the league, it's a very tough league. I mean, they still had a really good baseball team, but certainly they've got to like where they are right now. And as you said, they were very fortunate. The weather affected everyone, but Auburn being able to get those 3 games in on Thursday and Friday, I thought was big to give them a chance to recharge a little bit.
It really was. Came out of the gates big Thursday, of course, that 24-2 win, and then made the decision to have that doubleheader Saturday, and it was the right decision because it pretty much rained all Saturday night through Sunday here, and it's the first time I've seen clear weather this morning. So it's the right move. It was a really competitive game in that first game. You got to, as you mentioned, you got to give South Carolina credit. I thought they were going to find a way to put out a win, but Auburn just got it done there with that walk-off squeeze bunt there in the 9th by Eric Guevara, and then took care of business. I think South Carolina really ran out of pitching there in that final game.
Well, a lot of baseball news, but Brian, also got to talk a little softball. 20th overall NCAA regional appearance. Auburn softball finds out yesterday they are headed to the Tallahassee region.
Well, it's not baseball, it's softball.
Yep, hosted by Florida State.
It is amazing how many times at Auburn baseball and now softball, I think this is a couple of times they've gone down to Tallahassee for a regional. A lot of times they don't leave Tallahassee. Their season comes to an end there, but we'll see. I thought the softball team struggled really mightily the first half of SEC play, but really came on there the last 4 or 5 weeks. So credit to them to stepping up for a number 2 seed nationally, and they're a pretty hot team, I think, going to Tallahassee. So we'll see if they can give the Seminoles a little run there.
Well, and then when we have to give a shout out to the Auburn men's golf team too. Another amazing season for them.
Yes, hosting a regional starting today. I saw the start times have been delayed just 30 minutes, probably just cleaning up the course still from a long weekend of rain. But that's fixing to get underway here. I think there are 13 teams, I believe, 12 or 13 teams here in Auburn. And I think the top 4 or 5 advanced to the next round of the NCAA tournament there. But Auburn, I believe, is still number 1 team in the country. Hosting that regional, you think they're in pretty good shape to advance.
And no question. Well, it's going to be a big weekend for the Auburn Tigers on the road in Oxford as they try to wrap up a top 8 national seed. And certainly, Bryan Mathews, you're going to be all over that. And let everybody else know what else is going on over at auburnsports.com and how to connect with you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Of course, Jacksonville State comes in Tuesday in baseball.
I still have a midweek game because
last one of the season. And, of course, I believe official visits get underway this weekend. So this will be a really big weekend for recruiting coming up for Auburn. Caleb Jones has a big list of all the visitors that are coming in this weekend and the next several weekends. on our message board, The Bunker. You can check that out there. You can follow me on socials. I'll be mad at you. You can check out delicious Uncle Keith's red sauce at Publix, Piggly Wiggly, and Renfro's. They sponsor my Monday musings, which I'm about to put out here in a few more minutes. And if you want to order that online, you can use BMAT15 for 15% off that online order for Uncle Keith's red sauce.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Bryan Mathews, kind enough to join us. Good stuff there. Auburn baseball, Auburn softball, Auburn golf. A lot of stuff going on.
And they still got a midweek game left. Alabama does not, but every now and then, even though finals in many cases are over, they'll have a midweek game remaining, and Jack State will be coming to Auburn to play their final midweek game. Alabama wrapped theirs up at Troy last week, so going to be good. And Troy, by the way, they're still the only team in America that has not dropped a series this year, and they're playing Southern Mississippi at home.
Only dropped one.
Hey, yep, there you go. So that's two of the two best teams basically in the SoCon. They're going to play each other, and pardon me. That's Sanford is the SoCon. I screwed that up, but sorry. But again, they're going to play each other in Conference USA, and that's just huge.
All right. That's the Sun Belt.
Oh, it is Sun Belt. Okay, third time charm. Thanks.
Yeah, Troy is Sun Belt.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's been so much realignment. I can't Jack State is actually in Conference USA.
Jack State is Conference USA.
Okay,
yes,
so I got that one right.
You got that one right, but yes,
Sun Belt. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. All right.
Well, again, Sanford is the SoCon. Yeah.
Well, ESPN's off and running with that, aren't they?
But yeah, so but that's a huge series because Southern Mississippi is a team that's been to Omaha. They've hosted regionals in the past. They're really good tradition. And I think they're 12-1 in their series. And then, like we said, the only team in the country, and that is the Troy Trojans in the Sun Belt, have won every series, and it's even pre-conference, so they haven't lost. They did lose 2 games to none to Alabama during their home and away. But as far as those weekend series, the Troy Trojans haven't lost any in the Sun Belt or throughout their pre-conference schedule.
All right, we're going to stamp the break button there. We're going to get one in. When we come back, we can continue the conversation live from Bill Penney Toyota. Phone lines are open to you.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, "Savings never tasted so good." Click on that, then enter in the big zone deal store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Hickory Store Barbecue, Good Company Cafe, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's What's Happening.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said,
If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Sports Talk 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
8:23 Monday morning. We're live from Bill Penney Toyota. Big thanks to Bryan Mathews, who joined us there to close out our, well, just start kickoff, not close out hour one, kickoff hour number 2 there. Good to always talk to Bryan. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. If you want to join us, now is a good time to do so. We did mention a little bit of the SEC softball tournament. For those that are wondering, it was weather delayed and all that other fun stuff on Saturday, and playing conditions did not allow them to finish. So Oklahoma and Texas A&M were declared co-SEC champions in softball. A lot of people were scratching their heads wanting to know why they could not have tried to play that one on Sunday, at least.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised that they didn't try to play it out. I know they had the selection show that night, which was 7 Eastern, 6 Central, and to no surprise, dominated by the SEC.
Yeah, all four.
The top 4 national seeds are all SEC schools. #1, Texas A&M. #2, Oklahoma. #3, Florida. #4, Arkansas. And then 7 of the top 8. #5, Florida State. They're the lone wolf. And that's where Auburn is headed, as you heard Bryan Mathews say. #6, Texas. #7, Tennessee. And the Gamecocks of South Carolina that sent Alabama home, they are the 8th seed. But for the 20th year in a row, Scott, and I wasn't sure about this one.
There's a lot of people across the country that were kind of unhappy.
Well, I mean, I thought that might finally come to an end because I thought Alabama needed to beat South Carolina. They did not, but they were still rewarded. I believe they were the 14 seed a year ago, and they took out Tennessee on the road as the 3rd national seed and went to the College World Series for the 4th time in 5 years. But this time they're the 15th national seed, and the 2 seed in their regional is a school they played earlier in the season at home that beat them twice, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech had a lower RPI, if you want to say, than Alabama. They had a better RPI, yet were not chosen to host. They've got to go back to Tuscaloosa. And then the Belmont Bruins, their first trip ever, Belmont will take on Virginia Tech. and then Alabama will take on Jackson State from the SWAC. So the Crimson Tide get the 15th seed. Now, here it goes. If they were to win this regional, not going to be easy because you're going to have to go to Oklahoma, the 4-time defending champion, who you beat 2 out of 3 times in Tuscaloosa. But now you got to go into the Hornets' Nest,
super regional.
Super regional in Norman potentially, if you can get by a really good Virginia Tech squad.
All right, those are your NCAA softball. So that is coming.
And the SEC
faster.
set a record. No surprise. They have 15 of the 16 schools that play softball. And
Vanderbilt is the lone school that does not have a softball team.
Haven't given themselves a softball team, even though 2 of the regional hosts, Clemson and Duke, I don't even think they've had a program 5 years, but they're both already flexing and hosting regionals. But Vanderbilt still doesn't have one. The only school to not go into, and it's just been a poor year for Missouri athletics, the Missouri softball team ends up 25-31 overall, losing record, so we're ineligible to go to the regionals. All the other 14 all get bids. So the SEC once again, dominating the landscape of college softball.
256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. So we talk a lot about the football, and we talked a lot about basketball. College basketball, there was a rules committee meeting last week in Indianapolis.
Right.
And this is always fun to kind of visit, but recommendations for rule changes to the college basketball game have been put in front of the rules committee. One of them is a coach's challenge proposal, where teams must have a timeout to request an instant replay to where you can review challenges in college basketball. Kind of like football, where the coach has the flag or coach can challenge something in college football. The rules committee for basketball is wanting to bring that same formula to college basketball. We already talk about college basketball games being too long of going to the replays.
He'd be 3 hours.
So is that? I mean, they're recommending it. They're not. It's not a rule yet, but they're saying, okay, maybe we need to do this.
Well, does that mean they won't review as many just off the cuff as they do in the last 2 minutes of games, where the refs feel the need to review every freaking call and stop the game? So,
yeah.
Does this mean that they may just let the coaches have like one challenge per half and maybe not stop the clock as much? I don't know.
So what they want to do is, the goal is to try to create a more of a flow in college basketball, because they have said they've looked at all the amount of stoppages and everything that have gone on. And under the last 2 minutes, referees would still be able to do goaltending and the players in the restricted arc and stuff like that. But I think it would be a coach's challenge up until that point that would stop the play. So you wouldn't have a lot of these stoppages up until the final 2 minutes of the basketball game.
Well, I'd be in favor of that.
Yeah. The ref, and then the coach could review. The coach could say, I want to challenge that one, and review it.
I'll just keep it moving.
Anyway, those are just, college basketball is not immune from the rule changes. And there's a lot more of them that they want to suggest and everything, but we'll see how it all happens. All right. It is 8:30. What do we say? We get a break in. Will Miller is going to join us. Talk a little Alabama baseball. Tide got 2 out of 3 from Georgia. What does it mean going forward? And what do they got to do going forward to stay in that hunt? It's Alabama baseball conversation next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. Scattered showers and thunderstorms going to be possible for much of this Monday. High temperatures going to be reaching the upper 70s for the afternoon. Heading into our Monday night, lingering rainfall will continue. We'll also continue to sit under a cloudy sky. Low temperatures falling into the low 60s for the overnight. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. 3-0 to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's gonna fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying roll tide and war eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia if you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Hey there, everybody. Bob Baumhauer here, letting you know that we understand that times are tough and we truly believe value matters. So, by popular demand, we brought back our Inflation Bites menu featuring scratch-made meals that will make the whole family smile and your wallet, too. Menu items start at just $7.99, and any entree comes with a free beverage. Try our classic tailgate burger for just $8.99 or our hearty Bam Bam chicken platter for $9.99. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Oh, my goodness. Oh. Well, I mean, we were doing one thing during the break, and it was like my mind.
If it had been the Cubs, though,
my mind was going one way, and texting Brewer Hicklin to see what he's up to. I mean, we know what he's up to.
The stolen base kid, Brewer Hicklin.
Yeah, it's texting Brewer Hicklin with the Detroit Tigers. Yeah, see what he was up. I mean, I know what he's up to, but
we know.
Things we were trying to do during the break. But Alabama baseball, Mother Nature, she is undefeated. We say it all the time, and whenever she doesn't want you to play baseball or softball or anything else, she'll let you know. And she let Alabama know that you're going to have to
for a day and a half.
Yeah, you're going to have to drive in curves if you want to get this thing in. But the end result was 2 out of 3 against Georgia at home. And I guess you could say, it's kind of like basketball. You always say win your home games, and if you can at least go 500 on the road, good things are going to happen. For Alabama baseball, take care of business at home, win a few on the road, and positive things are going to happen. They took the 2 out of 3 from Georgia at home this weekend to set themselves up for stuff down the road.
Well, they showed a lot of mental toughness because they took a shellacking on Friday, where they were able to get that 9-inning game in, or excuse me, it ended up being 7 innings. What am I saying? It was 19-3. We all know that it's a 10 runs after 7 in these SEC games, but a lot of resiliency shown by this Alabama team, especially with the gut-wrenching way that they lost the Vanderbilt series the week before on the road. But this Alabama team has put themselves in position to still have a shot at hosting a regional, which would be the second time in 3 seasons. And we're going to talk some Alabama baseball with our next guest. He does a great job. He's covered the entire odyssey of this season for Bama Central, also which is, of course, Sports Illustrated. And we're going to talk to Will Miller for a few minutes and talk some Alabama baseball, and also talk about his feature on the captain of this team, Cade Snell, who is having quietly an first-team All-SEC type year at the plate. Has just been a phenomenon, a force as the captain of the squad this year and the starting left fielder. But Will, welcome back to Huntsville and 97.7 The Zone. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you, sir?
Morning, guys. I'm great. How about yourselves?
Doing well, and I know you were in Sewell Thomas Stadium dodging some of that rain this weekend. Alabama, it was kind of a funny start. We just mentioned Cade Snell. He gets a huge 3-run double early. Alabama's up 3-1. They feel like they have got a shot to take this game one. Tyler Fay, gives them, a 4 solid innings, and then everything just sort of falls apart for Alabama the second half of game one.
That's a great way to put it. I think it's kind of the story of some of these games that Alabama's played. I ended up doing a story on it that ran Saturday morning about how this team has 4 run rule losses this year in SEC play and overall, because they only have 1 loss in the non-conference. It was a 9-inning game, and all of those 4 games are in SEC openers. You had the Auburn game, Mississippi State game at home, Vanderbilt game on the road, and now this Georgia game at home that have all been decided by the run rule in the openers of that series. And Alabama only won one of those 3 series, which was this past weekend against Georgia. So they kind of changed the narrative around on what they had been doing in these first games. I mean, it was just the 5th inning was just such a drag for Alabama. And I think that not only did that change on the scoreboard because Georgia scored 8 runs, went from 3-1 to 9-3. That just took the wind entirely out of Alabama's sails going forward for really the rest of that game. And they did respond in the nightcap, but obviously, like you guys spoke about, the rain kind of had other plans. I say kind of, they didn't play baseball at all on Saturday, so you saw a lot of that. Early summer, late spring, weather kind of forced its hand in this series. But yeah, game one was just really one to flush and move on from.
And then you mentioned that's the first time that they've been able to win a series after falling down in that game one. Why? I mean, what do you think happened? Where did the mindset kind of click that, hey, we can still get this series after that tough one in game one?
Yeah, a great question. And my first answer is it's just hard anyway. That's why it's so important. That's why teams place a premium on getting that start in the right way, because it's so much easier to split 1 or 2 rather than to take 2 in a row when your back is against the wall in both of them. And Coach Vaughn did kind of talk about that with Riley Quick on Friday night, where it's, some teams have opted to throw their best guy in that number 2 spot because you're either settling the series if you lose or playing to win the series. And I think Riley Quick threw the ball really, really well on Friday night for the situation that the team found itself in, and a little bit shorter rest for him because he's he's used to going on Saturday, even though some of the last couple series have been Thursday to Friday. I think he's a big part, actually, of why Alabama was able to win that game 2 yesterday, because when it was called on Friday, they were up 6-2 and had scored 4 runs in the bottom of the first inning, and he was a big part of why that score was what it was, and Georgia hadn't gotten closer.
Well, and it was big too to just put that 4 spot up, because due to some, shifting and, I thought some questionable coaching decisions and strategy wise, it cost Riley Quick a couple of runs in the first, and you're already coming off a 19-3 shellacking. You're down 2-0, but Justin LeBron hitting one over the scoreboard, and then Alabama coming back and manufacturing a couple more. I thought it was huge to answer Georgia and put the 4 spot up in the first inning.
Absolutely was. And it's as much of scoreboard itself as it is just a mentality thing. It's so easy, obviously, to just be out of it when, that's a home loss where you gave up nearly 20 runs. And no two ways about it. That's as tough as it gets. And they have to come out and play, 35, 40 minutes later, they have to come out and play a whole nother game. This one with the stakes magnified because their hosting chances were more or less on the line in game 2. They had to win that game and the one that followed it in order to, stay relevant in that conversation, which obviously they did. There was an immense amount of pressure coming off of a game that some teams might want to lick their wounds about and, maybe obviously have a traditional, they're done playing, they come back and play Saturday and then play Sunday, but that didn't happen. And Coach Vaughn has talked about how mature this group is and how they've answered the bell on all of these challenges. It's nearly a 60-game regular season. A lot of different things are going to happen. And I actually asked him about this because that's something you want to know you're good at, handling weather delays and scheduling aberrations, because it's going to rain in Hoover. It always does. It always happens to somebody. You're going to have baseball being played at 1, 2 in the morning. And to know that you're able to handle that and still get the results is a net positive, I think, for the team.
Well, and you look at the schedule for Alabama. You go back a weekend ago, you have a series in Nashville against a ranked Vanderbilt team. Your last midweek game comes against a ranked Troy team. You host a ranked Georgia team. And now you have to take on a Florida team who at the beginning of the year couldn't figure anything out. They were 1-11 in SEC play. Now they may be one of the hottest teams, not in the league, but just in the country in general. And you got to travel to Gainesville, Florida to take on a resurgent Gator squad.
I mentioned that. It's a long season. A lot can happen, and Florida is living proof. That Coach Vaughn said they are the hottest team in the country in his estimation. I don't know if he expected somebody, part of the local media, to tell him he was wrong or what, but I don't think it's wrong at all. This is a team that has completely changed everything about the trajectory of their season and their prospects. Last year you were talking about Florida at this time of year in a whole different light. It was nearly a 500 team. It was, should they even make the postseason in some circles? Versus now, they've crept back into the rankings after obviously being in the top 10 to start the year. And they are one of the relevant teams in this league after starting 1-11, I think it was, in conference play. And that's not a place anybody wants to be, even though the SEC tournament is all-inclusive this year. Florida is up and out as anybody's going to be at this point. Carson Osmer spoke yesterday. He said, you're at the part of the year where not everybody's at 100% physically. You're going to have to be close, especially on the road, and that's a tough place to win. Alabama didn't win the series there in 2023, and it's just a challenge. They're well coached, obviously. They've got really good players. Obviously, neither of those things are necessarily breaking news, but like you mentioned, they didn't show that at the start of league play. And now they are, and now I really think that everybody's starting to be on notice. So this is going to be really difficult for Alabama to win, but if they can win this series, really, really good things can happen.
Well, and that's a perfect segue into my next question, Will. Obviously, I think their RPI is up to 8. It's in the top 10 in the country after winning 2 out of 3 against number 6 Georgia. in your mind, what do they need to do? You're an analytics guy. They've got to, they still have a good shot to be a top 16 national seed, but what needs to happen as far as in Gainesville and then maybe potentially in Hoover for them to kind of cement one of those top 16 seeds?
I do want to start my answer to that by mentioning the SEC tournament. I don't know how many of your listeners may have heard about the changes, obviously.
Right.
All inclusive this year, but it will be single elimination all the way through, which people are used to that double elimination. That's produced some really fun games in the past. That's gone by the board. So it is win or die all the way through at the SEC tournament in Hoover, and that's the important magnitude of some of those early round games that didn't exist before. So with that being said, if you want to, in my view, lock up hosting, you win 2 against Florida.
Right.
Going to be and on the road it always is, but playing a team that's riding high. Alabama was that team 2 years ago that was, everything was coming up roses and they were in the right spots at the right games, like that ending against Troy in the NCAA tournament.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
That was as loud as I have ever heard that stadium. I think they can have the opportunity to play those kind of games again if they can win this series. But Florida is not looking like they want to go down to anybody right now, and they're going to play like it, regardless of if everybody's at 100% or regardless of what might happen in Hoover. Hoover's still a week away, a week from tomorrow it starts, and they've still got that one regular season series left to focus on, and that's what I think ball clubs are going to be focused on.
Do you think the single elimination at the SEC baseball tournament, the changes and everything, now all 16 will be there, single elimination, do you think that's going to change on how some of these teams, these upper teams, approach the SEC tournament?
100% I do, because I think it changes the approach for everybody that's playing for, look at Kentucky, for example, that's playing for the possibility to make the NCAA tournament and be one of those teams. I think Kentucky probably gets in, but if you talk about those teams that are right on the edge, or teams like Alabama that could potentially be right on the edge of hosting, it's going to affect their strategic decisions now, knowing that the room for error is next to zero. Now, to go to that other extreme, you talk about those top teams like you mentioned in the question. I don't know how sure I am that a team that's already going to get a top 8 national seed, a top 3 or 4 national seed is, you're going to see SEC teams in that conversation every year. This year is no exception. I don't know if they're going to put as much pressure on themselves to go on a deep run, knowing that things can flip on a dime in ways that they haven't before with the new format. I think that the main areas of change that you're going to see, like I mentioned, are those bubble teams or those teams with aspirations to host that maybe haven't necessarily locked them down yet.
And Will, finally, I've got to ask about it because he was a huge part of the series win at home against Georgia, and he had a huge home run in a game against Troy that I thought really showed this team had bounced back from the disaster on Sunday against Vanderbilt, because that's a really good Troy team that they dominated on the road. But we know about Justin LeBron, his draft status going into next year. He reawoke this weekend and really this entire week with a bat. But Cade Snell's been that team captain and steady as she goes. He's had one heck of a year in the SEC this season.
Absolutely has. He's been an awesome piece for this team, no matter where you put him. He's in that 3 hole in the batting order, hasn't always been there, but just whatever they've asked of him, he's done. And when I spoke to him for the feature, that's the same kind of message he reiterated, just whatever I can do to help the team win. And you look at the way it's changed for him since last year. Last year he was a pitcher.
That's true.
Appeared in, SEC play, took over that designated hitter role where the at-bats were kind of wide open to start the year after Hayslip had that finger injury, and he took that over. So certainly had a good year last year and was a more than valuable contributor. But this year he's absolutely stepped it up to the next level, and to the tune of, you mentioned it's been kind of quiet. I mean, I never thought I'd see a world where a guy could hit nearly 400 in the SEC in May, and I'm not seeing it all over college baseball Twitter that here's a guy that's doing this, and he's been incredibly clutch. He's been that veteran presence. You name it, this guy brings it to the table, and especially this year. I mean, this is a real coming out party in every sense of the word for this guy. And I think that the coaching staff is kind of just along for the ride at this point. He's had the year that I think you mentioned, first team All SEC kind of year. If that's not, he went to the double digits in home runs for this year yesterday against Georgia with his 10th. If this sort of performance is a first team All SEC, I'm not. I know it's an absolutely loaded league, and you have to give credence to that fact, but I'm not entirely sure what is.
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, Will, great stuff. You do a great job covering Alabama athletics, especially the baseball program. Let everybody know how to follow you, brother.
You can find me on Twitter at RealWVMiller and also on Instagram, and that's the home for my work. You can find all sorts of stuff over there, and if you're a college baseball fan, I can guarantee I've got something for you.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right. Good stuff there. Will Miller helping us talk some Alabama baseball. Let's get that final break in. Tomorrow's headlines, we'll wrap you all up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
You guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Coming up on Saturday, May 17th, it's the Colts Mayday Bass Tournament out of Joe Wheeler State Park to benefit the Clements High School Booster Club. The Colts Booster Association exists to make sure that the athletes at Clements High have what they need to perform at their best. And this is a great, fun way to support the program. Blast-off is at Safe Flight with the weigh-in at 2. An entry fee is just $100 per boat. The guaranteed payout for first place is $1,500 with a side pot for big fish as well. Learn more at ColtsBoosterAssociation.org. Tom Abraham back from my friend Ross Roberts at Valley Equipment Rental. It's springtime, so let's get that garden tilled with a tiller from Valley Equipment. And while you're at it, snag a power washer for the house and the driveway. And if you're putting in a sprinkler system, they have the small trencher that you need. And you can even rent a Skag zero-turn mower and much more to get your property in shape. Valley Equipment, not just for the contractor, but the homeowner as well. 2 locations on the North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We've talked a lot of we're talking a lot of baseball.
Yep.
This show. Do want to mention congratulations to the North Alabama Lion baseball season. First 20-win season since they've joined the Division I level.
Get better every year.
They've qualified for the ASUN baseball tournament for the very first time in program history.
Four Lions there.
And this is the team that played 3/4 of their games on the road this year.
The stadium's being built.
And now they're playing at the stadium. They don't have bleachers
yet.
They don't have all that, but they're playing their home games on campus at home now. So congratulations to them for getting a 20-win baseball season.
Absolutely. And happy birthday to the one and only Freddie Kirby, who listens all the time.
And happy belated Mother's Day to everybody out there.
There
Hope
you
you
go.
had a great Sunday. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, talking ball.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or